It's April 25th, and we're just here to go through the Bible verses every day and just look and see what is God telling us? What is he telling us today? What is he telling us in our daily walk? And what verse calls out to us personally and is just in our hearts today? I'm going to start also. I usually show the word version of the Bible, and I have those, but for those who want to buy it, I actually listen to it as well. And so the One Year Bible is also on an app. And I believe we're in a technology age where it's important to look at technology. If you look at kids, I think a lot of kids have never read a paper book. And I know some pastors are out there that are very dedicated to carrying a Bible. But when you have a generation that has never touched a paper book other than the school books handed to them, I think any mechanism is useful. And I'm an auditory learner. I had a little bit of dyslexia, even though my mind is very mathematical since I was young. And if I hear it, I almost always remember everything. Reading it as well, but hearing it, it places in my mind a special place. So using various gifts that God has given us, these things can be used for beautiful sharing, just like this video. For people who are auditory learners. I use the app to hear it and then often even watch stuff. So I think it's important just to use all mechanisms God has given us. So let's get to the verse today. It's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. Luke 40 to 42. And I say this is pray and submission is the title. So Luke 22, 40 to 42. And when he was at the place, he said unto them, the apostles, pray that ye not enter into temptation. And he was withdrawn from them from about a stone's cast and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine will be done. So there's two amazing core critical points here. And I start by, and I guess I was amazed when I read this. Of course, the apostles prayed, and Jesus asked that the apostles would pray and not fall into temptation, which is amazing. I prayed today after I did this that I don't fall into temptation, because any of us, the greatest pastor, the greatest leader, can fall into temptation and make mistakes. Any of us can fall. And I pray that we don't. I pray that I don't. But I was even more amazed that Jesus prayed. And I guess I knew this. Jesus would go into the forest. He would go into the gardens. He would go alone and pray to God, which we all should do. But that Jesus knelt and prayed. He knelt and prayed to God the Father as God the Son. And the immensity of the difference between the Son and the Father, yet the unity, is a great heavenly mystery that only in heaven I think will we understand, but that Jesus prayed to the Father. But his prayer, I think, is the most beautiful prayer. It's the prayer I've copied because I know my wisdom is limited. I'm very imperfect in so many ways. And so I would submit to God's direction. So just to read it again, just because I think if I was going to give any message, not a 15-point message, not a 5-point message, this would be it: prayer and submission. Your will versus my will. Let thy will be done. And I ask that God's will be done in my life versus my own will, which would take me off. Maybe I would search off money and pride and power. Who knows what I would do if I wasn't reading the Bible and in the Bible. In fact, I grew up Christian, but I never, the denomination I was, we never read the Bible. We never pushed to read the Bible. And since I've been reading it for about 20 years, I've never stopped reading and listening and learning from the Bible day by day, one piece by one piece. So God's will be done versus our will. Pray to God for his will. Pray that he gives us direction. Pray that we don't fall. Even Christ in that moment, knowing the suffering that was coming, both the physical, but more important, the spiritual separation, led him to tears of blood. He still submitted, your will, not my will, God. Again, it was a pleasure just to be here for a few short minutes. I pray that the week goes well for you. I pray that you're blessed. And I just say this all in Christ's name.